Alrighty then, it's time to revive one of my jungle classics, Cho'gath. Which one? And yeah, I haven't actually played Jungle Cho'gath since his E rework, and I kind of have to just say that it's really good. I mean, I knew it was good, the E change. The only weird thing is that you do have to level it up, but it's not a bad skill to level up unlike it was before. So, suffice to say, it's pretty good, and he clears a lot more efficiently and is a lot better of a duelist because of it. So, hooray for Cho'gath, right? Jungle Cho'gath, he's used to be one of my main classic junglers. You always saw me praise him, seeing super versatile, having a multitude of builds, and when he was at his strongest, you could go AP Bruiser, pure caster, pure tank, an aura whore kind of build. So I've always had a soft spot for Cho'gath. It's always been, though, the case that in certain metas that are super mobile or so super AD carry heavy, sometimes you can't really play him without just kind of getting melted. Like, I didn't like playing Jungle Cho'gath during Kog'Maw metas, because that's not fun, just kind of dying because, crawling to someone you want to eat. But, suffice to say, right now the meta is switching to a more one tank kind of meta as far as solo queues going in this division. Like, I've been playing Chondo and that kind of stuff, and it's been working out. But I figured, Jungle Cho'gath against this composition would have been fine. And he's pretty good against one tank kind of lineups, because either the enemy tank gets low while they're trying to get close to you, you just eat them and you destroy their destroy their only bodyguard or initiator, or they can't stop you and you just eat the face out of the AD carry. That's pretty good, right? In this matchup, I sort of figured their composition was going to completely lose to just me in general. If I do well, if I play the Cho'gath the way he's supposed to be played, I will render several of them useless while the rest of my team cleans them up. My silence alone will destroy Karthus, because while he's silenced, he can't cast his Qs for several seconds, and considering its cooldown, that's a lot of damage lost by Karthus. And again, my biggest threat in this is like the Nami. If she controls me, I will never get close to Jhin. But everyone else will pretty much get destroyed by the silence. Lee Sin, if he doesn't initiate quick enough and I silence him, he can't do his Lee Sin kick to the enemy team or do any crazy Lee Sin stuns. If Shin gets too close and I silence him and we knew he was about to initiate, well, his initiation goes belly up. Essentially put, Cho'Gath's biggest strength has always been being, a huge pain in the ass for anyone who relies on abilities like combo casters or casters in general. So that's old news, but that's why I picked him in this composition against their composition. It also tends to work well with someone like Yasuo. So yeah. Also, one of my favorite things to do with Cho'Gath is this, if you catch someone, just eat their face off immediately, like QWE arm. I love that so much. But anyways, right now in this game, my team is not working cohesively. We're kind of losing our positioning because players are starting to roam, starting to ignore farm a little bit, like the Blitzcrank, roaming around, kind of leaving Lucian to his own divines. Thankfully, he rejoined the lane, and my team is sort of, you can't see it here, but we were sort of communicating, saying, okay, the mid game and the late game is where we shine. Right now, we're kind of doing badly. We're picking up a few stragglers here and there, but it's mostly because they're trying to ward or they're getting a little bit too brave. And as a result, we kind of picked them off. The enemy team needs to understand, that they are not going to win they're not going to win the late game. So they kind of have to dominate now. Also, the amount of damage that Karthus Q did, and I know I went through the W, and I know I got hit by tower shots, was pretty devastating. This Karthus at least can land most of his Qs. And yeah. They don't have a weak late game composition. I'll reiterate, though, just to make sure you guys don't think, Stonewall, what are you talking about? But my team composition late game is really, really fat. Like, Ornn and I are just going to walk in there and force them to initiate on us or force them to use our abilities, and he and I would disrupt the crap out of their enemy team and then just destroy somebody. Destroy the important characters. Because without the key characters, the enemy team can't really function. And of course, we also have a lot of wombo combo potential if they get out of position. But as you can see there, the only reason anybody on my team kind of died was because we kept fighting in a very, very poor spot. We killed the Karthus easily enough, but we forgot that you shouldn't ever fight on top of Karthus. It's essentially akin to chasing a Singed. He's just gonna absolutely murder you. Plus, this Lucian is pretty baller, although he does end up getting killed right here. he did quite a bit of damage and sort of redeemed my composition or my team there. And then this Ornn kind of threw that whole, redemption away, so it's kind of sad. But either way, like I said, when it comes to major team fights in the mid to late game, my team composition will start shining. My build is also going to be reflective towards what my team composition needs. We have some quasi-initiation, right? The Ornn ultimate, and I guess me landing a Q and a Blitzcrank pulling somebody, hopefully. So we need a Righteous Glory to just kind of blitz them in and force them to, disrupt their own positioning, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm rushing, essentially, after the Cinderhulk, of course. And I'm building mostly pure tank, with the pure tank and getting cooldowns, and even a Tiamat at some point, because I might as well do a bit more damage with all my fatty health. But anyways, another pretty bad fight here. Like, I am trying to disengage because I knew we were going to lose, and I was trying to do my best to save my teammates, and then at least it just kind of comes too close to me and it just eat his face. I was just trying to save my teammates from afar because I realized very quickly that our positioning was so bad for that fight we had to just scatter. And of course, you saw my team basically got punished and destroyed. And then Ornn was trying to defend his turret and just took a huge chunk of damage, but at least he defended it, right? So yeah, 11-17. It's not as bad as it seems, considering the gold for my team is way better than theirs. Even the Ornn, who was basically destroyed in lane. Once again, though, some of my teammates are a little bit too brave. In this case, the Blitzcrank getting a little bit too brave and dying as a result, losing more map control. Although the enemy team is not able to capitalize on that too much because we're a little bit too fat, and Yasuo is pretty dangerous, even if he's not too ahead, because it's a freaking Yasuo. Although a lot of respect to Cho'gath, because you don't see that many, and he is probably the most terrifying opponent in this game right now. When I was playing this game on stream, I was trying to put a lot of respect against the Cho'gath because the Lucian can destroy people, the Shen can set them up, all that other stuff. But Cho'gath, if you don't respect what you kill him or the amount of damage he can do, you just kind of lose. Again, I admittedly have a soft spot for Cho'gath, but still, whatever. So yeah, we're here. It's a little kind of weird situation because I was thinking, what is the enemy team trying to accomplish? What is my team trying to accomplish? I guess we're just kind of farming, but that's only beneficial to my team, so I was kind of confused what the enemy team was trying to do. Lee Sin gets a little bit too brave here, but he actually does escape because they burned a lot of things to help him escape. Like a Lee Sin ultimate and a Shen ultimate, which is technically a boon for us. Then I see a poor Jhin by himself, Righteous Glory, Smite, use a Q, and then me and Yasuo just completely destroy him, and I bite his little face off. Where's Mask? And then his face off. So I get even bigger. And that was pretty bad. Like, he was kind of abandoned by his Nami. I figured, she was thinking he'd be completely safe. But as a result of that, my team just kind of starts blitzing him under the tower and kind of just destroying them. Again, though, we fight in a position where Cho'gath can maximize quite a bit of damage, and he chunks the shit out of us. Ornn dies as a result of Nami, but mostly Cho'gath is doing. But you saw, we're pretty weakened now. Jhin comes in with his ultimate, blazing, gets a few hits in, doesn't really do very much. The silence against the Shen did pretty good work. But then, it's a little bit of a weird fight here. The Lucian, I believe he does quite a bit of work. He goes in and kills the Jhin. The Nami gets dropped too by the Yasuo, and then he turns around and kills the Shen alongside me. So the enemy team at this point, their composition is starting to fail because they're not respecting the amount of damage Lucian can do if he's got a lot of fatties just next to him. Though, because the Lee Sin doesn't care, it just kills his Blitzcrank homie. But yeah, Lucian has so much protection, it's hilarious. He's like the rapper with the bodyguards, right? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure any AD carry player who's watching this video right now is just gushing at like the defensive core this guy has. And once again, Jhin just kind of gets caught. I used my Rupture far away because I thought this is the only valid place he could possibly flash. If it flashes there, he would have been caught. Otherwise, he's just going to die anyways. So, yeah, it's pretty good. And Lucian, again, kills a Nami who was just kind of straggling behind. Like I said, once the mid-game rolls in, once itemization starts bearing fruit for us, the enemy team is just gonna fall apart. They absolutely can't do anything against us, except the Cho'gath. If he dies in a really good spot and the enemy team forces to fight there, we could possibly lose. But as far as things go, the fact that the Yasuo and the Lucian are actually pretty damn competent is a huge boon to this kind of tank-heavy composition. And again, it's the best thing about me being Cho'gath is that while I am a a tanky champion, I could still punish someone who hangs around who's way too low in health. Lee Sin once again goes in, but to their fortune here, we all got caught and basically destroyed by a Nami bubble, which led to Lee Sin killing 3 of us. And then Lucian kind of kills, gets the revenge kills, and then Jin kills him in return. But that was a pretty good show. Props to Nami there for kind of, turning things around. But again, it's only inevitable that my team composition is going to bulldoze through this. And again, I've said it in past videos before where a lot of people have criticized me for talking about team compositions or caring too much about it. Yes, in solo queue, team compositions don't usually matter too much, but a composition's power schisms, or where your power is relegated, does matter. Like, it doesn't matter who you pick, it just doesn't matters what everyone contributes and the overall strength levels of your team composition. Like, if your team excels in pushing, then you best take advantage of your pushing power, right? It doesn't matter if you pick some really irregular champions, right? Every composition is going to be tailored one way or another based on who is in the composition. And in this one, having super fatty fats plus some really strong bursty champions and bursty champions, it just kind of means that we kind of blitz in there, use our fat asses to block everything and set them up for the best wombo combos they can possibly unleash. Just again, Lucian, by the way, that explosive plat was funny as hell. I was too fat to realize where I was angling the damn thing, so I just kind of bounced in the air. But yeah, Lucian gets to, the best protection possible and running around, gets to run around and maximize his damage. It's a beautiful sight to see. Here I catch Karthus and, force him to use his W, which is pretty good because now the enemy team can't rely on that. And I'm able to flank them for a little bit. My silence is pretty bad, but Ornn gets Ornn tries his ultimate, and I get a good Q in there. Yasuo gets in with his ultimate, and my silence destroys these 3 people. They couldn't use their abilities fast enough to make a difference, essentially. Nami had to retreat because of the silence. Lee Sin had to use his abilities at the worst time, essentially, because of the silence. And you saw the wombo combo destroyed their fighting spirit there. They didn't all completely die, but essentially they lost the fight just straight out. Yasuo did eventually die, though, but that was kind of unrelated. And yeah, now the game isn't over yet, but we're essentially pushing on their Nexus now. And as you can see, every team fight is ending up being the same. Like, the fatties push the enemy team back, allowing Lucian to gather some breathing room. Although in this case, everyone, like in solo queue, always does the Nexus stupidity push, where everyone forgets that you should still be playing intelligently just because the Nexus is there, you'll probably win, doesn't mean you can start being lazy and dumb. Either way, this game is you can see it's kind of rearing its ugly head here. I mean, the finish, and I have my beautiful Tiamat for some reason. Yeah, we're going for Baron, but it's going by extremely slow because, well, it was pretty late until somebody with actual damage joined up. But yeah, with Baron, it's basically a done deal. And at this point, too, I could just walk into people and, take a ton of damage and just kind of ignore it. Although in this case, I got pretty damn low. The rest of my team is kind of the same way too now, barring the actual marksman. But yeah, at this point, just once the minion wave comes in, we're gonna sort of blitz in there and just start, yelling at people. I distract Shen because he can't kill me quick enough since I have a Gargoyle Stone Plate. And then, the rest of the enemy team just gets gunned down by Lucian. And with that, the game is basically done, or basically sealed. It was pretty good. I hope you enjoyed it because it was actually one of my favorite games I played this week. And plus, I got to bust out Jungle Cho'gath again, which is one of my favorite classics. And, if you've been a long time watcher, you guys know I've always been playing them since beta. So, hooray for the classics. And if you liked this video, remember to give it a like. And if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit the little bell up there somewhere so you actually get notifications to my videos because YouTube and stuff.